welcome to another episode of Wealthapp Holiday Adda, a unique show where we showcase the journey of those who dared to dream. My name is Ranjini Ghosh, and our guest on the show today is none other than Dr. Suddhasattwa Sen, one of the most accomplished and revered doctors in the country today. Dr. Sen has been part of the Wealthapp family for nearly 5 years now. So without further ado, let's take a visit to Dr. Sen and find out more about his illustrious journey. We have all heard about and experienced your professional greatness and the experience that you bring with you. So I would like to know a little bit about how Dr. Sen became who he is today, how your childhood was like and how that influenced the person that you are today.
So basically, to tell you in a nutshell, I was born in a very Ivy League revered family of barristers, lawyers, administrators, bureaucrats, and people like that. So there was a time I had a lot of ministry people, the central ministers, state ministers, bureaucrats to coming to our house. So it was a very bright ambience at that time. So basically, I'm a guy who had seen riches to rags and rags to riches. So I have had the experience of both the worlds. Now, although my entire family, I'm the great great grandson of Rai Bahadur Boykunthanath Sen and also the grandson of late very famous barrister Mrigendra Mohan Sen. But my father was not into law. So he and mom had a very simple life. It was not really the life that my grandfather and the above generations had. So I had seen a lot of struggle and hardships in life. And probably that is the thing that made me what I am today, because the moment you start struggling, you will become gradually weather beaten for the life. At the same time, you'll become more passionate. And you will have two directions to choose from. One is money and power, get everything in life. The other is a life of integrity, diligence, commitment, perseverance, endurance, honesty. So I had the choice when I was 4 years old, and I chose the second. And these were the choices given to me by my mother. So money never intrigued me really. So I wanted to be an Air Force pilot, but I had glasses, so I finally couldn't, or didn't rather. And then the next best option was to be a surgeon, which I decided when I was in class 5. So till class 5, till date, I have really actually groomed myself up for a lot of things that in case I go into armed forces finally. So I was into rowing, swimming, kayaking, all sorts of water sports, all sorts of adventure sports, mountaineering, rock climbing, shooting, archery, karate. I've been into a lot of arts and music. So I was into painting, cartooning, poetry, impromptu shairi, novel writing. And I had always been a very thinking man. So it's more like a daydreamer, utopian, innovative, and frankly discussing people, sitting in places. So whole world knows I am like a loner, or rather I would put it like I love my solitude, because normally people discuss people, which I find very uh, distressing. I find wastage of time. So I rather spend quality time alone, even, or with very few good friends, and then continuously think of innovations and things that can be done to improvise and improve the quality of life for earth. So that has actually shaped me in becoming a doctor, because when I became a doctor, I topped most of the exams, have a lot of qualifications, but I have never looked back. I always believe that success happens in repetition only when you never look back your past successes. It's only for the archives. And I give myself a target of zero death and zero complication, which nobody ever probably in the history of medical science would do, because that's almost impossible. But that had actually helped me to achieve something which is not absolute zero, but 0.5% death rate, which may be comparable to world standards, which is really exceptionally good. So I don't let my patients die. I don't let my patients go into complications. Yes, I'm expensive for the quality I serve, but I save a lot of costs for the patients elsewhere. So effectively, it's one of the best cost benefit ratio. But so that is the way I practice, and I wanted the world to come to Bengal. So being an exceptionally good student, as I was being told, So I had the entire world opportunities. But I felt that everybody who's extremely bright or can do something or wants to do something, they run away to the Western countries because they have the money for the brain. I know it was a mission impossible to do the same thing or similar thing here in Bengal. But I thought that somebody has to have the guts to try. And that's what I've been trying for the last 25 years. I have been succeeding in almost all the cases. There have been occasional deaths, but very rare. But what is more important, I am getting patients from across India. People go to South. I get a lot of patients from South. I get patients from West. I get patients from across the world, literally from America to Europe to Africa to Asian countries to even Latin American countries. And without any of the unscrupulous methods, I don't have tourism, I don't have marketing, I don't have agents, I don't have any sort of things which are normally have been the norm in medical practice. So I'm trying to be an exception. I'm trying to be an example. And more importantly, I always believed in two, three things like you be the change that you wish to see in others, because that's the way people always criticize. I never criticize or complain about life. I have had a lot of betrayals, backstabs, problems, humiliations, rebukes, niggers. I've looked beyond them. So when I'm a guy, if you throw 1,000 stones, I'll not throw it back. I'll accumulate and keep making my monument bigger because I'm a man on a complete mission and I know exactly what I want to do. My only target is to bring the world to Bengal so that nobody in India will have a condescending attitude towards Bengal. Once Bengal rises to the level of India, then the target would be to make India at par with the world or better. So maybe one small man's dream, but then I think every damn thing in this world started with one small man's eccentric dream. So as Neil Armstrong said, na, that one small step for human was a giant leap for mankind. So you just have to believe, have faith in God, and keep doing what you do, irrespective of the accolades and the criticisms. So that's what has actually shaped me. So it doesn't really matter where I go, what I become. I have money, power, chair. I invest on people. I connect to a human being, or I don't. I don't care how much money. I get all sorts of patients, literally. A lot of VVIPs, a lot of ministries from both state as well as from the central. It has never actually mattered to me who's what, as long as I connect to the soul of the person. Otherwise, I don't. So all these things together has shaped me in what I am today. And yes, I need money. I do charge. I do give benefit to the poor also. But I don't fleece any person with money. It's all about my principles. And I believe in earn honestly and then you go into investments by which you can grow that money. And no, I don't also believe in evasion of taxes. I give taxes. A lot of people have said you're foolish. Some people are not going to use your taxes the way it should be. If my life is to be decided by what others do, then what is the difference between them and me? So it is the onus lies on us to be what we are, rather than being guided by somebody else, manipulated by somebody else, and then blame that person that he's bad, so that's why I'm bad. That is not a justification. So that is the point when somebody recommended me Wealthapp. I met Shomajit Ghosh. I felt he has similar nature as me. May not be same, I don't know. But that is when I decided to go ahead with Wealthapp for the investment.
So, doctor, you said that you decided to become a doctor when you were in fifth grade. So, what was that one moment or one incident that inspired you and made you decide that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
I had seen deaths in family, deaths in the para. That was the term that we used to use at the point. Unfortunately, paras don't exist much now. But so paras were always very close knit unit, and I have seen a lot of deaths. I've been to a lot of doctors as a child because I had a lot of problems. So I was what is called a catarrhal child. I used to have recurrent infections, recurrent problems. I was a very adventurous guy, so I had to had a lot of injuries. My face had almost 36 stitches without taking anesthesia. So when I went to the doctors, the waiting period, the behavior of the doctor, the condescending approach to people, not all of them, some of them were very nice, they were literally godly, a lot of them were not. So that is the day I decided then probably this is a place where a lot of work can be done. Not just in terms of quality, but a major part also in terms of behavior. Time is valuable. I never make my patients wait unless I'm really stuck, which is something which has been a norm. Nowadays, people are realizing the value of time. Behavior, something which is, it is not something you can compromise on. So, similarly, if a patient is under distress, he does not have the allowance to misbehave. Same goes with the doctor, just on the other side of the table. Doesn't mean the patient has something to do with me. I mean, he needs his health, he needs his life. So that's why I'll make him suffer because I have that godly complex. No, that is also wrong. So going to a lot of doctors, I realized there were a lot of deficits which is not exactly the way it should have been in a industry which based on hospitality and service. So it is not just treatment, it has to be a very holistic approach from the true care, passion, emotion, empathy, connect, plus the treatment quality, quality treatment, the costs. So I keep costs the last because I believe whoever Apple phone had it cut down on costs, it wouldn't have been Apple phone. So it believed in quality. So I am a guy who believes in quality, and quality will come at a cost. Now there, whatever you can cut the corners to without compromising the quality, the price. So all these things actually didn't give me a very good feeling about the profession. It had given me mixed feelings. It's not that I alone can change the system. People will say I'm mad, but I felt okay. A lot of things better can be done. So that is when I decided I'll become a doctor. And then medicines you give and you wait for the medicines to work. So the results were unpredictable. Surgery was much more predictable. It is more or less in your control. So somebody cannot do this, maybe you go better to do that, which was previously thought to be impossible. So surgery scope of saving a patient is much more finite, much more immediate, and much more predictable. So that is the reason I wanted to be surgeon. Especially I have been adventure loving. That is the only thing that gives you a kick. And at the same time, it is something which is eccentric, something where skills and the scalpel is you have to control. It's not that the medicine is going to control your fate. It is here you are going to control the fate of the scalpel. So I became a surgeon.
I think you're well on your way to do everything that you've ever dreamed of. So, of course, being so accomplished as you are, money has never been a problem for you. It's not something I believe you've ever had to think about since the start of your career. So,
Oh, I did have to think about money a lot. I never had too much of money. I still don't have too much of money. But it is, fact is, how much is enough? So there are three grades: necessity, comfort, luxury. I'm a guy who's happy with necessity. So if I have the comfort and luxury, I'll invest rather than spending.
no, so what did your relationship with money look like before Wealthapp came into your life?
See, before Wealthapp, the point is my money was lying in banks with lower interest rates. There was no exactly investment planning. There was an investment guy, but then he was putting into too many places, small amounts. Returns were extremely bad. They were most of the time I was in loss. So Wealthapp actually organized it. So, like I say, if I am a one-stop shop for GI surgery, HPB surgery, and abdominal cancer surgery and laparoscopy, so Wealthapp for me had been a one-stop shop for investment in mutual funds.
So that's amazing, and we wish you all the best. And we are really grateful to have people like you associated with us. Thank you so much, Doctor, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.